Good Thursday to you. What's happening? What's happening? Facebook, YouTube. I am Kendrick, the sports guy. And yes, that's right. We are doing a special live stream today. We're talking NFL Draft 2025. We're giving you a preview before it kicks off tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on NFL Network, on ESPN, on ABC, and on ESPN2 as well. But you know the rules when you come in Club Kendrick. Make sure you come in, like, subscribe to the YouTube channel that is Kendrick Sports Social, as well as TFG Sports Media. Make sure you like and follow them both. On Facebook, you can follow my personal Facebook page, Kendrick Roland Henderson, as well. You can follow me on Instagram, Kendrick1969, and I am live right now as well on TikTok. If you haven't gotten to TikTok, go to TikTok, follow me at Kendrick Henderson 51. So again, we're going to jump right into it, and I got to bring in my good brother. You know who he is. He is the sports director at KOTV, the ABC affiliate in Tyler, Texas. Michael E. Coleman, and the E stands for entertainment. Mike, what's happening? Good Thursday.
What's going on? You know, you and I both represent the two teams that played in the first 2 or 3 Super Bowls, you know, Green Bay and Kansas City.
That's right.
You got your green, I got my red. Let's go get them, man. Let's go get them.
Let's go get them, man. We talking NFL Draft 2025. I think people look as much forward to this as the Super Bowl, Mike. Would you say?
That's a good call because, you know, like the Super Bowl, the draft location is rotated around the country. You know, if you want to go to the draft, you got to get in your car or fly or take a train. Same thing with the Super Bowl. I know Detroit did it last year, Kansas City 2 years ago. When I worked in New York, I always went to the one at Radio City Music Hall. It was live, and when they announced they're going to move it around, it's like but I think it was a good idea because everyone gets to be a part of the. If they can't go to the Super Bowl and you live in that town, you can at least get a chance to flirt and rub elbows with what's going on for that week, that 3 days or whatever. So it's NFL. They know how to make that money, man. They know how to make that money.
They do. They know how to market it. And again, it's the first time it is in the frozen tundra, Lambeau Field, in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Who would have ever thought the NFL draft would be held? And I'm just glad the weather is holding up in Green Bay because it's not bad weather. You know, consider you never know what you're gonna get in Wisconsin in April. So it's gonna go down. So all right, Mike, let's go ahead and jump into this thing. But before we talk about the draft, we got to talk about this is probably going to be the top story of 2025 because it already is. We got to talk about Shannon Sharpe. New news today. It just came down. He posted on his Instagram that he's stepping away from ESPN until further notice to deal with this situation he is. Mike, what's your thoughts?
See, if you're not as big as Shannon is, it ain't a situation. You know? Don't nobody know about it. And don't he know there's already a movie out called Sinners? You know?
Right.
He gonna want to be a guest on his own show next Tuesday.
Right. Let me tell you, hey, Iowa, if you want to hear Mike, you got to watch us on YouTube or Facebook, Kendrick Sports Hustle, or on YouTube, or Kendrick Sports Hustle on Facebook. You got to go to one of those pages so you can hear us, Mike and I. Well, Mike, again, this story is still developing. It's going to be more stuff coming. Just your initial thoughts on what's going. I mean, this whole being involved with this 19-year-old woman.
Here's what it is. The last person in the world this could possibly happen to was Stephen A. Smith. He runs his mouth the most. He's the loudest. He's a provocateur, and you know he taking care of his business. You know, and the thing about Shannon, you had the Skip Bayless thing, and he had a lot of empathy and sympathy. I mean, people rallied around him, and then he brings on Kat, and she's the man, and he's still the man. Don't get me wrong. But it's like if you're going to get bigger, I mean, he didn't make this much noise off the field or out of the booth playing football. He was just another great tight end and Hall of Famer, all that stuff. And he got big post NFL. I won't say real fast because he's been out of the league for a bit. He was with CBS and all that kind of stuff. But this podcast thing, they're all doing it, and he has done it the best. If you ask
Yeah.
me, of all the
Oh,
athletes out
yeah.
there doing it, he's done it the best.
He has.
And he just needs to be. When people are asking you for $50 million and turned you down for $10 million, that says you ain't taking care of your business. That's what that
Right.
says. And I don't know where he slipped up. I don't know if he has a group of cats to say, hey, Shannon, tone it down. He needs somebody like that. This is going to get messy because, when you can talk about Deshaun Watson all you want, this is a different version now.
This is a different one. This is a whole different book, different chapter.
Somebody came up and stole my thunder because I can
right.
And it's going to be somebody that's in them. Let's face it, podcasters are media.
Yeah,
they're not quasi media; they're media.
Right.
And if you got people who follow you, and now they're going to follow him for the wrong reasons, just to say "I told you so" and taunt and mock and all that stuff. Even those are going to be throwing stones at him, although they got their own glass house. So I just think he's in a situation where I don't know how it got out of control. I heard the phone call. Did you hear the phone call?
Yes, I did. And we ain't gonna go too more in depth in that because I'm gonna probably do more in depth in that on Sunday because I got my thoughts on it. But yeah, I heard the phone call.
See, and that's why I think that he's probably through with ESPN because this is a second opportunity they've had to go. Now they can go, well, you know what?
Yeah.
This is the best thing that happened to us. So when he wants to come back, I think they're going to say we're good. We're good.
Well, we're going to see. Right.
But by being his own boss of his own podcast, he's in charge of that.
Yeah. But your advertisers and all that, though, they started to go by the wayside.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna keep it locked. Y'all keep it locked here. We're gonna keep you updated. I actually gonna go more in depth on this, Shannon Sharp, because there's so much to unpack there. But the news today is he decided it wasn't ESPN told him he had to step away. He
let them off the hook.
He left them off the hook because we all knew that was coming. He decided to step away. He said he won't be back. He plans to come back for the NFL preseason. And like I told Mike in a text, I said, yeah, that might be his plans to come back, but that don't necessarily mean execs have the same plans. So and a lot can happen in between now
and don't misunderstand. Execs are not angels either.
No, they're not. They got a lot of skeletons in their
right. There's just some things people can do and get away with, and some folks, you know what I mean, can't.
Right. Yeah. And styling and profiling battleships and barbecue. I love that name. Thanks for popping in. I love it. He says, I mean, he should have known better after the Instagram issue. Couldn't have said it better, and you are so right on that.
That was the wake-up call.
You would have thought. Right. You would have thought that.
Wake up.
Right. Hey, man, you messing up your bag now, brother. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. All right, Mike, let's go ahead and get into tonight's draft. Again, it kicks off at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on ESPN, ESPN2, NFL Network, all the other affiliates. Jake says, go Pack, go on my TikTok. I feel you see my background. All right, Mike. The top three picks. We got the Titans, the Browns, and the Giants. There has been word that there has been back on Tuesday that the Browns and Giants might be looking to move down. What do you think these top three teams are going to do? I think we all know the Titans going to.
Yeah, Titans already made it clear. Titans is like, nah. And real quick background: the general manager for the Titans is the former assistant general manager for the Chiefs. And he was with them for 16 years before he got that gig in January of this year. So he had a hand in the Patrick Mahomes maneuvering from 27 to 10. He's had a hand in turning that program around, that team around. So he knows firsthand, you got a quarterback, you get him, and make sure you keep him. You get that pick, you keep it. So that's what he's going to do. I think his name is Bronkorski or something like that.
Okay.
2 and 3. Cleveland's going to take Travis Hunter. They need something good to happen. Just like they didn't need something bad to happen. This is the football gods. It's like, look, you got number 2. There's a Heisman Trophy there waiting for you. I don't even know if they've ever had a Heisman. Well, I think did Bernie Kosar win the Heisman?
I don't think Bernie won a. Yeah, did he? I think maybe he did. I know Gio Toretta
did. Didn't Baker did, right?
Yeah,
Baker Mayfield?
Yeah, Baker.
Okay,
Wait a minute. Did Baker?
I think Baker did win the Heisman.
Well, we know they had Johnny Manziel, and we know he won the Heisman.
Right. So that's my point.
Right.
These guys look up on getting a Heisman Trophy winner, but they don't do anything with it. Well, this time, don't let it be a quarterback that's a Heisman winner. Let it be a guy 2 for 1. You know, offensive side, defensive side, and build your defense around him or your offense around him. I mean, they shouldn't even balk at him wanting to play both positions because they need all the help they can get. So, yeah, I think Cleveland will stick with that pick. Giants, I think they'll go after Carter. I think they made their name with defense. With Lawrence Taylor back in the day, and they haven't had a Lawrence Taylor type in forever. So I think the first 3 picks, slam dunk. 4 on in that first round.
Right.
I don't know.
All right, Mike. We got to talk about the biggest story right now that I've been keeping up with the last couple of days is Shadeur Sanders. A lot of these draft experts have him dropping to the Steelers at 21. Good. Will he drop that far?
I think he will. Because I think the thing about Mike Tomlin, he's not a problem. When these things happen, especially with a quarterback, the most scrutinized position in all the sports, and they've made more bad decisions teams have than good ones when it comes to quarterbacks. They thought Ryan Leaf comes to mind, Josh Rosen comes to mind. You don't even hear about these guys. I mean, Aaron Rodgers dropped. And he's a Hall of Famer. He has not played himself out of being a Hall of Famer. Right. And I just think when you go play for Mike Tomlin, he ain't taking no mess. And not that Shadeur is a guy that's going to give you mess. I think Shadeur he's a product of his father, whatever that means.
He's a Sanders at the end of the day.
He's confident. Yeah. He's confident. He's been around the game his whole life. If somebody wanted to throw a jab at him, is that he's in the bubble of where his father has been his only coach.
Right.
That's the only thing. And that's why Mike Tomlin, I think, could be a good surrogate for him. Because Mike don't take no mess.
Yeah.
And I don't think Shadeur is a disrespectful guy. I don't think that at all. But like someone was saying, they said a scout had commented, the worst interview ever.
Really? I read that yesterday. But then want to put his name to it. I hate when you have these comments and it's anonymous. Put your name to it.
Put your name to it. Put your
toes down on it so we know.
And then explain why it was the worst interview. Maybe you weren't asking the questions you needed to ask.
Yeah. But then on the flip side, Mike, sometimes teams do that to put that out there to distract other
camouflage
teams and keep them away from him because they want him to drop.
And another thing, a lot of these guys at quarterbacks are coming into the draft as millionaires already.
Yeah.
The NIL deal. So I hope he ends up with Pittsburgh. I know the Saints name has been attached.
Tonight.
I don't think that'd be a good fit for him. I just don't. I just think a solid, cohesive culture for him is where he needs to be, and I think Pittsburgh provides that.
Styling and Profiling says, I agree with the first 2 picks. I think after 3, it's chaos. He says, I'm here for it. Also, Styling and Profiling says, facts, Mike, letting you play both sides of the ball, talking about Travis Hunter. And Styling and Profiling also says, I feel he's going to fall out of the first round, talking about Shadeur. Name another 13 to 12 quarterback that would get this much attention if his name wasn't named Sanders.
That's true.
That's a valid point. I can't argue that. But I also would say, the 2 years that he did at Colorado, man, you look at what he did. If you just look at his stats, I mean, he put up some nice numbers.
Right. He did.
And he won the Johnny Unitas Award. Top quarterback in the nation. So, I mean, Shadeur has some, my thing is, I don't like that he holds the ball too long. I think
he does.
He's going to have to.
And he'll go somewhere and they'll fix it. They'll break him of that.
Right.
That's
and I think the Giants would be a good place for him because you got 2 veteran quarterbacks, Jameis Winston and Russell Wilson, that you could sit behind. And I think that would be a good spot for him. But according to all reports, the Giants aren't really looking to do that. They're looking to go with, Abdul Carter, that defensive end.
Well, like you said earlier, some of these guys, they like the camouflage. They're playing poker,
Right.
and because if I was a GM, I wouldn't listen to what everybody else is saying, and I wouldn't expect you to listen to what I'm saying about a certain prospect, because I'm trying to game you. I'm trying to outgame you and outsmart you and get what I want. So after 3, if those picks are what they're going to be, it's going to be a roll of the dice. This Jax Dart kid,
Jackson Dart,
Jackson Dart, he may go higher than you. Didn't hear about him 3 weeks ago.
I know a lot of these mock drafts have him going as the second quarterback.
Well, I watched him at the combine. I thought he had a good combine.
Okay,
I saw him. I said, okay, who's this guy? And so I just think the big story is what you just said. It's Shedeur. Right. I know people are. I say people, commentators complaining. There's no buzz. Yeah, there is. That's why y'all talking about Shedeur. He's the buzz. Right. He's the buzz. And if teams are going to withhold drafting him for fear of father stepping in, that's the wrong reason.
Yeah. Because I think that I don't think Coach Prime is going to be
he's not going to do that.
Come in and make waves. I don't think.
And you have to admit the best education or the best educated coming into this draft is a young man whose father is an NFL Hall of Famer.
Right. And
he seen the stories and heard the stories. He's been around the stories, and I think that's what these scouts are kind of baffled about. It's like he already knows where you're coming from.
Yeah.
He's not wide-eyed and bushy-tailed. Because he's been with the Hall of Famer all his life. So we'll see.
Samir Sarak over on TikTok. I appreciate the follow. Let's talk about the Cowboys. We're in Texas, and Mike is the sports director at KLTV, the ABC affiliate here in Tyler, which is basically an hour and a half east of the DFW, the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. Your thoughts at number 12. What are they going to do?
They got to get an offensive lineman, man. I like to see him get a wide receiver. I like to see him get a running back. But you can't get the running back if you don't have the line. Old boy retired. What's his name?
Zach Martin.
Zach Martin's gone. He's, Hall of Famer right there. That's a big void. They got 10 picks over 7 rounds, something like that.
I think they got 10. Yeah, I think they got
10 over
the
7.
third. They got the third most behind the Niners.
Okay.
And
so I want to see Riverboat Jerry step up to the plate the next 3 days. I want to see him wheel and deal like he did with the Herschel Walker trade 30 years ago. I want to see him find a diamond in the rough like he found Dak Prescott in the 4th round, or even Tony Romo.
Right.
Jerry needs to be more Jerry and just go for it. So that's what I'm looking to see. And everybody else is too. Yeah. Everybody else is too. But I think they need an offensive line to build off of. I think they need to get a running back. They're going to find this is running back deep. They'll find a running back. It just won't be number 2 out of Boise State. He's going to be gone by that time, I think. But if he's there, grab him. We'll work on the offensive line deal later.
Yeah. HP3 later, right? HP3 on TikTok asks, chances Packers draft replacement for Jair Alexander if they don't fix contract issues. I don't think at 23, but I think they will draft a cornerback, HP3. I don't think they would take him at 23. I think they're going to either take offensive lineman or a wide receiver, which I'm balking on that. I'd rather them go with a defensive back. Speaking of that, as far as the Cowboys, a lot of people project them to pick Matthew Golden, Mike, wide receiver out of Texas at 12. I've been seeing that one.
Not like I see that. Also, I saw the kid from Arizona's name has been attached to
right?
Too.
McMillan. Yeah, Tatorio McMillan.
Yeah.
He's been attached to that number 12 pick for the Cowboys. He's also been attached to the number 20, the 23rd pick with the Packers, because a lot of Packer fans want a wide receiver. Me personally, I think you can find a really good wide receiver later on. To me, those probably are the top 2, Matthew Golden and Tatorio McMillan, when you talk about the wide receiver. I don't think this is a deep class when it comes to that. So it's going to be interesting to see will the Cowboys trade down. That could possibly happen too, Mike.
I think I can see that happening. I can definitely see that happening. I want to see, like I said, I want to see the Jerry of old. And if they move down, it's like what they're going to get. Now, I've heard some even say trade away to get more currency, trade away Micah Parsons.
Right.
You can't do that because there's nobody on the other side of Parsons that can pick up his slack until you bring somebody in. You don't have that. I know Parsons has been going to the voluntary workouts. I think he wants to be there. There's no question about that. Back to the receiver here, Matthew Golden's. That's the name, right? Is that the kid from Texas?
Yeah.
I mean,
Matthew Golden.
CD. I mean, look how banged up CD played this past year. He got banged up. He still stuck out there and he played. He stuck it out. He toughed it out. You don't need your elite wide receiver having to tough things out in the middle of the season when you're trying to make a move to go to the playoffs.
Yeah. Let's talk about two quarterbacks that a lot of people, Rudy Rods on TikTok says Dallas needs to draft the roster. He's probably an Eagles fan. Robert also asked, who do you think Dallas will pick? Michael Coleman, my good brother Mike, said he think they're going to pick, you said a wide receiver at that position, right, Mike?
Go with the wide receiver.
Running back. Yeah. Most people are thinking wide receiver. Who do I think? I think they need to draft the offensive lineman. I think the kid from LSU would be a good one. What's his name? I can't think of his name right now. But I don't think they will. I think Dallas might trade down. I think they may trade down out of that pick, but I think they're going to go with an offensive lineman and possibly a running back. Ashton Genty won't be around for him. I know that. He's probably going to be a Raider, and I think the kid from North Carolina, or Marion Hampton, he's going to, some people project him to be going to the Denver Broncos. But, Mike, let's talk about two quarterbacks that no one has really talked about at all.
The Alabama kid?
Jalen Milroe and Texas quarterback Quinn Ewers. Where do you see both of these guys going if they go? I know they're not going first round, but where did you see them going?
The Bama quarterback getting more love than Quinn Ewers. I mean, he's done dried up, and I think those big games kind of hurt him. When they had to spell and put in Arch Manning and set him out. But I think the Alabama QB, he's going to land on his feet with the right team. He's not a first rounder. I think he can play. He lacks consistency. That's what what was it? Did they beat Alabama or Georgia this past season? I think they did, but then they
got blowed out, and then
they got blowed out
by somebody.
He climbed them out. Now you got to find a way to stay there, and that's the tough part for him. He got invited to come to the draft, so he'll be there. Because a lot of times they pick the first rounder, so somebody must know something somebody else don't. But I think
go ahead, Mike.
Huh?
Go ahead.
I think he'll land well. I think he needs to go where there's a veteran on his way out, and he can afford to sit back and watch and learn. And hey, if he's there I don't think the Cowboys have a 4th round pick. If he drops that far down, the 3,
the Cowboys should take him.
You take him. You take him.
What about yours? Where do you see him?
You know what? He never impressed me. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay.
I'm just gonna tell it like it is. I was never enamored by this kid. To me, the way I look at him transferring from Ohio State,
right,
want to tough it out and compete for that position. All right, and he was given the job at Texas. Yeah, he didn't beat anybody out. He was given the job.
Yeah, true.
And so I just never been impressed with this game. I really haven't. And I think that's a system thing. And I know because, for instance, in that first game against Georgia, he should have been pulled. And if Arch Manning was all that, Manning should have taken over.
Right.
But Sarkisian's like, I made a deal with him. I would never pull him from the game. Well, you can't make deals like that. you know, if he's not playing up to what you thought he can do or to his value, I got to get number 2 in here. I'm trying to win games. I'm gonna be here longer than you. You know?
That's a valid point. Right. And I thought I thought that he shouldn't have lost his job unless that he really was inept. Now he wasn't the greatest, obviously. He was more of a game manager, and that's okay when you do that. But I thought that he just gave Texas the best shot to win games. Again, I know Arch Manning came in. He played well against UT San Antonio.
Hold up. Let me say this. I'm not really sold on Arch Manning.
Well, he's gonna be the guy.
That's right. Now, who was the
Yeah.
quarterback before yours? Was it Sam Ellinger?
Yeah, it was Ellinger. Yeah.
Where's he at?
Well, last I knew, he was on the Colts practice squad.
The practice squad,
Yeah,
the coach
yeah,
practice squad. So, again, this is the thing about Texas, especially at that position. All the glorified headlines, but no substance. Not since Vince Young.
right.
Not since Vince Young. So unless you find somebody like a Vince Young, I'm going to always doubt the quarterback because I know they had good pieces around the quarterback.
Right. All right, Mike, you worked in the New York market. The Jets are coming off probably one of the most disastrous, I would say, probably last 2 years, considering they brought in Aaron Rodgers. He got injured the first game. They didn't have him. Then just the circus, all of the stories coming out this past season about the owner, Woody Johnson. His son was helping him make picks through Madden and all this. And now, they finally, release Aaron Rodgers. So they got the number 5 pick, got a new head coach who I like, and I hope he do well.
Yeah,
but
I do too.
Got Aaron Glenn.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts? What should the Jets look at doing at number 5?
I have never seen it.
No, number 7. I said
number
5.
7.
Number 7.
I have never seen a team have such an issue at the quarterback position since Joe Namath left. When I got there, and they had Chad Pennington, who was okay. Mm-hmm. And so I had told my New York friends, my co-workers, because they were talking about Joe Namath, I said, see, y'all still talking about Joe Namath. Joe Namath ain't played in 50 years. And the mere fact that y'all still talking about Joe Namath means y'all haven't gone anywhere. And they cannot get that quarterback position right. They just can't. So, I mean, other than, I think Vinny Testaverde may have been the best quarterback they had for a minute. I think he played with them. But, they got the wide receiver, the kid from Austin, Wilson, I believe was his name.
Wilson. Yeah, Garrett Wilson.
I don't know. That might be a good spot for the kid from Alabama. But something happens to those players once they get there. Right. The coaching, the management, the whole bit. That those guys, other than it being in New York City, those guys want out of New York. Right. I was there when Herman Edwards was there with Chad Pennington, and then Mangini. I was like, wow, these guys are stuck in neutral. And I went to their practices every day they had it, and I was like, man, they have an inferiority complex with these New York Jets. And I think and they still do. And Aaron Rodgers only added to that. So it's back to the drawing board, and maybe they'll get it right. It's like we saw Detroit get it right. Yeah. And maybe Aaron Glenn, coming from Detroit, is the guy to get the Jets right with the new era with them.
Well, the Yahoo Sports, this is who I was checking out. They project the Jets to take Tyler Warren, a tight end, out of Penn State. We know the Jets have Justin Fields. They traded for Justin Fields, and he's going to be there. There's probably their starting quarterback at the top.
I want to see him succeed, too. I want to see him succeed.
Right, and I do, too. All right, Mike, we're going to get one more question and get out of here. With you being a former college running back, I want to get your thoughts on Ashton Jeanty, because some people question his stats just due to the fact what college he played at, Boise State, some of the competition they had in that conference. But the kid could run the ball, man. He could run the pill. We're coming off of Derrick Henry and what's the running back for the Eagles? God dang it.
Oh, Saquon
Barkley. We coming off of those two guys. Actually, in my opinion, bringing the running back position back as an important part of your offense. Ashton Jeanty, will he come in and make an impact no matter if he's with the Jaguars or if he's with whomever? Do you see him making an impact at the NFL level?
I think he will. He's got the vision, and it's not his. I don't know if he was heavily recruited out of Frisco or not. I don't know. You can only be recruited by who you're recruited by and make the best of it when you get there. They didn't have a transfer portal in his day, and maybe if they had, maybe he's playing at OU or Texas, where the light is, the shining light is bigger. Mm-hmm. But no, he did what he had to do. Runner up to the Heisman, He's not an overly big guy. In fact, I think the Hampton kid from North Carolina is bigger. Like maybe a couple of,
yeah, he is.
I mean, on paper, I think they got him listed at 6 foot. This kid maybe 5'10". Is he 5'10"? Genty?
I think he's like 5'8", 5'9".
Yeah.
I think he's like 5'9".
And that does hurt him. That does hurt him. But you know what? Old boy from Kansas State got a job with the Dallas Cowboys. What's his name? His father's there.
Yeah, that's short. Yeah, I can't think of his name.
Yeah, I can't think of it.
5'6". He thinking like 5'6" or something like that.
Right. So, but I think if you got to use him right, he can catch. You know, he can, obviously can run, but he's got the vision. You know, and really, he reminds me of Emmett in the fact he knows when to cut back against the grain. He'll be going right, and he'll see something, he'll dart. That's what Emmett was really good at, reading his blocks. That's what Hampton is good at. I looked at some film of Hampton. I saw some file video of him. I like he comes out of that backfield. He doesn't like blast. He kind of reminds me of the runner who fell out, Levante, which beat the Steelers. He let the blockers develop, and then he shoots through.
Oh, Le'Veon Bell.
Le'Veon Bell was the best at that, and then too bad he couldn't keep it going.
Yeah, right.
But so he's a patient runner. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. So, but no, I think he's a good back. We've been hearing about him for 4 years, and Boise State, that's been a pipeline to the Cowboys for quite some time now. You know, and we'll see. No, he's legit. He's legit. He's more legit than Etienne. Etienne let me down.
Yeah, he let me down too. He wasn't as good as I thought he had more potential.
I did too.
But he's also a little bit banged. He's injury prone too as well. My guy Styling and Profiling says Caleb Johnson is going to be good too. He also says that, come on, Mike, Jerry ain't got it no more. I guess he's talking about Jerry.
The fastball, the fastball slowed down. He ain't throwing those 90 mile heaters anymore. He's lobbing the ball, and he's right. So this is to me, the decisions that Jerry makes or the Cowboys make, which is going to definitely reflect on Jerry.
Right.
Jerry needs to do something daring. That's what he always did. He always surprised you with something. But let's see if he can do it. See if he still got it. His fastball.
So anyway, this has been my preview show for Kendrick Sports. Also, my good brother, sports director at the KLTV affiliate in Tyler, Texas, Michael Coleman, has joined me. Well, we're going to get out of here, Mike. I just want to get your thoughts on.
Well, I'm glad you had me come by, man. I appreciate it. We're going to see. It's going to be. Look for a flurry of trades tonight. Trust me. Up and down. I think it's going to be an active first round.
You think so?
Yeah, I think it's going to be active.
It's going to be as more active than usual, in your opinion?
Yeah. And the main reason why I think is because you don't have, they say it's a starless, whatever that means, draft in the first round, and there's going to be some uncertainty, and there's going to be some second guessing, and I think there's going to be drama. Tonight.
Oh, but Mike, so we might have a reality show.
Yeah, right. We just might.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mike said there might be some drama going on in Wisconsin, especially. And let me tell you, Green Bay doesn't have a whole lot. They don't have a whole lot of drama. So we'll see what happens. All right, Mike, I'm gonna let you get out of here, brother.
All right, sports guy. I'll talk to you, man.
All right, you have a good one, man.
All right, buddy. Talk to you.
All right, we'll holler. Again, that was my good brother. All right, that was my good brother, Michael Coleman. He's the sports director at the ABC affiliate in Tyler, Texas. I want to thank him for joining me. He always is helping his brother out. Styling and Profiling says Broncos, Bills, and lots of late round drama. That's what we're probably going to see. A lot of the NFL draft experts said that they're looking at a lot of trades and maybe some surprises on tonight. So we'll keep you up to date on that. We will be popping in. Well, I won't probably pop in live, but I will be posting late because I work overnight. So I'm not going to be able to watch the whole first round, but I'm going to try to stay up to watch at least the first 10 picks. So I want to thank Styling and Profiling on YouTube and on Facebook for popping in and joining us. We appreciate that. Again, you can keep it liked here if you haven't already subscribed to my channel. That is Kendrick Sports Social right here on YouTube, as well as follow it on Facebook. Might as well, since you're on YouTube, subscribe to my other sports channel, TFG Sports Media, as well. Follow it on Facebook. You can also follow me on Instagram at Kendrick1969, and you can also follow me on TikTok and Kendrick Henderson 51. So again, I want to thank everybody for popping in, my TikTok fam, my YouTube and Facebook fam. Again, NFL Draft 2025, it goes down tonight. Tip-off, I'm saying tip-off, it's basketball. Kickoff is 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central on ESPN, ABC, NFL Network, and all that good stuff. So again, I am Kendrick the Sports Guy. We will see you on the other side and on the next report. I am out. Peace.